Okay, joined by Tulane head coach Jay Uhlman. Coach, thanks for giving us a few minutes today. Can we just get your thoughts on the game today and your run through the tournament?
Yeah, first and foremost, congratulations to Cliff, his staff, his program, those players. Always awesome to win or lose, to lock horns with those guys. They usually bring out the best in us, and fortunately today we weren't able to get it done. I thought Jenkins made some pitches when he had to, got staked to a 2-0 lead. Ironically, the only time the wind was kind of blowing out that way, left-handed opposite field homer to give him a 2-run lead. And Lombardi settled in nicely, and then we had the one bad inning, 2 hit by pitches, the throwaway on the sac bunt, and the big inning was kind of all she wrote. And tried to mount a comeback, but they just, Norby came in, made pitches. Jenkins continued to make pitches. They didn't give us a whole lot, and early on when we had guys in scoring position, we just didn't get it done. So again, hats off to them. They played tremendous, and unfortunately for us, streak of 9 straight wins at this conference and back-to-back championships is over. We had a chance to, I think, be one of very few programs ever win 3 in a row. So proud of my group. Hard to play in a championship game 3 years in a row, but we've managed to do that in every form or fashion throughout this tournament in the course of those 3 years. So, we'll step back from the season, reevaluate, recruit, and do everything in our power to be back here again next year and make another run. So we love it here. We're grateful to the Phillies, the American Athletic Conference, everything that they do to make this experience A+ for the student athlete and the staff and the families is tremendous. And then lastly, I want to thank our fans that were here in force throughout the week. They were unbelievable, really unbelievable. So much appreciated for the folks that made the time to come here and watch us play.
Okay, we'll start with questions in the room. Go ahead.
Coach, completing your wonderful season here, how do you just keep the success outside? Keep going. I mean, it's been impressive for you and getting to the 3 years in a row and finishing the 500 now. How do you keep going, especially with losing a big chunk of your pitching rotation?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in this era of the transfer portal, it's going to be really difficult every year. You're going to have a lot of turnover, and I think the team that, I think East Carolina had 30 new players, so our cost of education isn't getting cheaper at Tulane. It's approaching $100,000 to go to school there. So we have our built-in obstacles like everybody else does, but we're going to continue to try to do the very best we can to create a culture that young people want to stay in and they want to fight for and be a part of, because they're going to get coached and developed, and they're going to get a great education and experience while they're at it.
Jenkins, he went 80 pitches, 530. What made him difficult when you guys were getting even the counts? What were you seeing in those at-bats from guys?
Yeah, he was landing. I thought he was landing his off-speed stuff and he was moving the fastball around. He was down, and he didn't. I don't think he walked anybody. I can't read without my glasses, but maybe one. Looks like one. So again, you get. We've been on the other side in this kind of environment where you get staked to an early lead. If you have some nerves, they dissipate fairly quickly because you got a little bit of cushion to go ahead and attack. And, I think, to the case in point of it's hard to get the last 3 outs of a game. Hunter was in the game and threw 8 straight balls with an 8-2 lead. So the game's difficult. Pressures are different. And so, but Jenkins I thought he was tremendous. And then you got a lot of ground balls and they played good defense.
Schultz.
Stud.
Yeah, he's probably hoping you're going to come play more. Talk about how big a role he's been on the team as one of the 2 captains, being a hometown guy in New Orleans, going up with Bronx, and now he's going off into what's next for him.
Yeah, I don't have enough words to express my gratitude for him. He's been a tremendous ambassador for our program. a warrior competitor. Pretty much started every game for 4 straight years. 3-time all tournament selection, regular season, all conference selections. He's played short, he's played third, he's DH'd, he's played right, he's played left, and does it selflessly, and been a 2-time captain. Just a tremendous career for him. I feel terrible for all of us that we don't get to put the uniform back on this year and get an extension of our season. For guys like him, I would have cut off my left arm to give it to him and provide that opportunity for him again. So just a special player that we're going to miss.
Just one last question.
Yep.
Did you have a chance to address it at the game now, or things kind of happening quick?
I haven't yet. I will at some point. So I'll let them kind of get through the emotions with each other, and then more than likely, as I always do, probably address them on the bus. So thank you.
Okay, we'll go to the Zoom. We'll go to Gary Smith, please.
Jay, did you just feel like you couldn't catch any breaks today that could have made it closer? I think both teams had 7 hits. Jason Wax looked like he hit a 3-run homer. It wasn't, but it wedged through the wall. If it had bounced back in play, that would have at least been 2 runs. Just stuff like that happening in the game.
I mean, yeah, that's sometimes that's baseball, and unfortunately, it's not always going to work out for you. Some of the harder contacts we had were at people, but again, hats off to them. They didn't. The big thing we always talk about too is limiting the amount of free things before the damage comes. And unfortunately for us, the one big inning really did us in, and kind of changes the nature of it. At that point, it's 8-0, and pretty much takes the short game out of it. Pretty much takes a running game out of it. You gotta hit and walk and hit by a pitch your way back into a game, and they didn't do that, and again, hats off to them, and just it wasn't our day, unfortunately.
On that errant throw on the bunt, who was supposed? I mean, he had to wait for Connor to get to the base and stuff happened. Was that the way the play should have gone? Obviously, other than the throw.
Yeah. So when they're bunting to the other side there, the first baseman doesn't have to get back. If he can, but most of the time he doesn't have to get back there. So I don't know. Usually Connor's there, and it was kind of a get ready to throw, arriving at the bag, which happens, and unfortunately the ball was just a little bit to the orange bag, and the collision happens. But, I think that Matias tried to get back, and Connor, did what good baseball players do and tell him bag, bag, bag. So he got out of the way, and Clem's, as you see him pitch, he doesn't throw a straight ball very often, and so when you have that kind of arm side run, it can be a little bit tricky. And unfortunately for us, that showed up, and obviously I tried to, review it to see if we could get bailed out that way, but to no avail. But yeah, so.
And with Lombardi, was the plan about 50 pitches for him today? And obviously he did great. Just the early. The
curveball was really working. They had trouble on him, and again, it was a little bit of I think maybe a fastball maybe ran in a little to the bat, and he's a strong guy. And like I said in the opening statement, the wind was actually blowing that way. And when a left-hander kind of gets a little side spin and gets it in the right trajectory where the wind can help push it out, I think it went one row into the stand. So tough break. So just, again, what wasn't our day, unfortunately. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
And one more, just in hindsight is 2020, and I really mean it that way. But the way Jacob Moore pitched in the last 3 innings, do you wish you might have put him in the 5th inning, knowing no way how the game was going to work out at that point?
I'm just going to say hindsight's 2020, no question. So we went with the matchup we thought was the best, and it just, again, unfortunately it didn't work out. But yeah, Jacob pitched. He pitched really well. He had a slider working, and it was a good way for him to end the year in a pretty inconsistent year for him. So I was happy for his performance in that spot. He gave us a chance.
Thanks.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you,
Okay.
Gary.
We'll go to Ken Berkello, please.
Jay, can you hear me?
I sure can, Ken. Thank you.
Fantastic. Got that worked out. This team has played so loose in almost every game that you played in. Do you feel like maybe today, for some reason, I thought I saw guys come into the plate with a little bit more intensity. The breath was deeper. They were maybe pressing a little bit more. Do you think because it was the championship game, they pressed a little bit more than they would normally do?
I mean, if that's the way you saw it, then I think your instincts are pretty good. It's very possible that that's the case, but it's high stakes. Everybody wants to, we want the three-peat. We want the opportunity to go on to play, and whether or not they were tight, I mean, I didn't feel like it was a whole lot different. Maybe a little bit more. You ask them to be focused. And they come out, and if we score 5 in the first, now they're really focused. But now they look focused or tight, and we don't score any runs till later in the game. So it's with respect to you, it's also it's easy to kind of look at the other way and say, well, maybe they were tight. So I don't know. I'm not in their shoes. I obviously am their coach, and I see their body language every day. Some for 4 years, some for a year. I think maybe the pressing part of that, of wanting to strike back and respond, which we've done, we did all week. We responded, and unfortunately, I think we hit some balls at guys, and maybe guys started to get a little bit frustrated that it wasn't working out for us. But we never went in the corner and cowered. I can tell you that.
It may be too early to answer this question, but as you reflect back, could you share with us what you told them immediately after the game, if you met with the team yet? And I know when you look back, when you look ahead, there's a lot you're going to say, but specifically just about this game, anything that comes to mind that you would think of that you could share with us?
No, I didn't share anything with them. We were trying to be respectful in defeat of ECU's accomplishment, and we got some all tournament guys, and they got some all tournament guys, and so out of respect for our opponent in the game and those kind of things, we were locked into that and being respectful of that. And I don't think in that moment when guys get emotional because some are taking off the uniform for the last time, and it's a punch to the gut when you don't get what you want, and that's the beauty of baseball that mirrors life. But for me at that point, there's nothing that I'm going to say in that moment that's going to do anything that's going to help anybody. So just kind of letting people kind of collect their thoughts and gather themselves, and have authentic emotions the way they feel like they need to express those emotions. So no, and I'll get them later in the bus and those kind of things when we've had a little bit of time away from the finality of it.
Good shot of Lombardi on TV after the final out, and how disappointed he was. And what I read into that shot in his expressions, and I may be off on this, was that I let it get away early. I wish I could have gotten it started. They settled in, and at that point, you can come back from those few early runs that he gave up, but you could just see the disappointment on his face because he's had just such a fantastic career up to that point. It's almost like he wasn't used to that. And I'm just asking you, to address him, what would you tell him?
That he had 11 saves. He's been an absolute warrior for 3 years. He's a model of somebody I'd want my daughter to marry. He does everything the right way. He's smart. He's going to get an opportunity to play professionally. Hopefully come back and get a degree. I don't anticipate he'll be back next year. I think he'll get drafted high enough that the money's too good to pass on. But, like for me, it's you give up 2 in the first. It's like you got to score to win anyway, and so it's like you're going to give those kinds of things up. So perfection's not attainable at that point. It's just, I'm sure he's hard on himself. So I'm sure he felt that part of that, but we were held at bay by 2 really good pitching performances. Jenkins and Norby, I thought, were tremendous.
Coach Uhlman, thank you so much for the time.
Thanks. I appreciate everybody. Thanks for covering us all year. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jay.